Hello and welcome back to Op Synergy. I am excited to guide you through one of the most foundational and misunderstood areas in project management. Today we are talking about how to build a complete work breakdown structure. If you are preparing for the PMP exam or actively managing real-world projects, the work breakdown structure is one of the most important tools you will ever use. It creates clarity. It defines the boundaries of scope. It lays the groundwork for estimating, scheduling, budgeting, resource planning, and performance tracking. Without a solid work breakdown structure, everything that follows in the project becomes significantly harder. With a strong one, everything becomes easier. Let us begin with what a work breakdown structure truly is. A work breakdown structure is a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work that the project team must accomplish to meet the project objectives and deliverables. The key phrase here is total scope. A work breakdown structure is not a list of tasks. It is not a schedule. It is not a to-do list. It is a structured, logical breakdown of deliverables and the work required to create those deliverables. Think of the work breakdown structure as the blueprint of your project. If someone were to ask you what exactly your team will deliver, how the work fits together, and how all of the components roll up into the final outcome, you should be able to point to the work breakdown structure and say this is the complete picture. Before we build one, you need to understand a few critical terms that appear repeatedly in project management and especially on the PMP exam. The first term is deliverable. A deliverable is any unique and verifiable product, service, or result that must be produced to complete the project. Deliverables exist at multiple levels of the work breakdown structure. The next term is the work breakdown structure component. This refers to any element inside the hierarchy. Some components represent major deliverables, some represent sub-deliverables, some represent groups of related work. They all work together to form the full map of project scope. Above certain groups of work breakdown structure components, you will sometimes create something known as a control account. A control account is a management control point in the work breakdown structure where scope, budget, schedule, and performance measurement are integrated. Control accounts are often used in organizations that rely on more formal earned value management. You do not need a control account for every branch of your work breakdown structure. You only place them where you need oversight and performance tracking. Now let us talk about the lowest level of the work breakdown structure. The lowest level is called the work package. A work package is the level of decomposition where the work becomes estimable, assignable, measurable, and trackable. In other words, this is where the team can say, we know who will perform this work, how long it should take, how much it should cost, and what the output will look like when it is completed. If you cannot answer those questions, you probably have not decomposed the work breakdown structure far enough. Work packages are not activities. This is an important point. Activities belong in the schedule. Work packages belong in the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure answers the question, what? The schedule answers the question, when? Mixing these two levels leads to confusion. The work breakdown structure always stays focused on defining scope, not sequencing or timing. Now let us talk about how to build a work breakdown structure from scratch. There are two major approaches, the top-down approach and the bottom-up approach. The top-down approach starts with the final deliverable and breaks it down into major components, then breaks those components further until you reach the work package level. This is the most common approach for most projects. The bottom-up approach starts with identifying the lowest level work elements first, then grouping them upward into higher level components until the full structure emerges. Bottom-up can be useful when you are dealing with highly specialized work where the team knows the detailed components better than the high-level structure. Most projects use a combination of both approaches. You begin top-down, identify major deliverables, then collaborate with subject matter experts to ensure nothing is missing and refine the decomposition. To begin, start with your project scope statement. The work breakdown structure is built directly from the scope baseline. If the scope statement is not clear or not approved, the work breakdown structure will also be unclear. Your goal is to transform the high-level narrative in the scope statement into a structured and visual decomposition of the work. Next, identify the major deliverables that must be created to complete the project. These deliverables must be concrete and verifiable. For example, if you are building a training program, the major deliverables might include curriculum development, video production, student guides, the learning management system configuration, and assessment tools. Each of those deliverables becomes a level in the work breakdown structure. From there, break those deliverables into sub-deliverables. Continue breaking down the work until you reach the point where further decomposition no longer adds value. This point is normally the work package level. A good test is to ask yourself if this level is sufficient for estimating cost, estimating duration, assigning ownership, and monitoring progress. If yes, you have reached the work package level. As you build the structure, keep in mind that the work breakdown structure is deliverable-based, not activity-based. You should always phrase each component as a noun representing a tangible output. For example, curriculum framework is appropriate. Develop curriculum framework is not. The work breakdown structure describes what must exist when the work is complete, not the action taken to create it. Once your work breakdown structure components are created, you will add something known as the Work Breakdown Structure Dictionary, or simply the WBS Dictionary. The Work Breakdown Structure Dictionary is the detailed companion document that describes each component. It clarifies scope boundaries, acceptance criteria, assumptions, constraints, and any other information needed to understand that component. The Work Breakdown Structure Dictionary prevents ambiguity and ensures that anyone reading your work breakdown structure understands exactly what is included and what is not. One of the most powerful benefits of a work breakdown structure is that it sets the stage for everything else. Cost estimation becomes easier once the work packages are defined. Activity definition and sequencing become straightforward because the deliverables are already decomposed. Resource planning becomes clearer because you know the type of expertise associated with each work package. Risk identification becomes more thorough because you now have a structured view of every element that could experience variance. Another major concept you must understand is the 100% rule. The work breakdown structure must represent 100% of the project scope, nothing more and nothing less. That means no extra work, no hidden work, no missing deliverables. Everything the team is responsible for must appear somewhere inside the work breakdown structure. Every child component must roll up completely to its parent. No overlaps, no gaps. The work breakdown structure also supports change control. If a stakeholder proposes new work, you can immediately reference the work breakdown structure and determine if the request fits inside the originally agreed upon boundaries. If the work does not align with an existing component of the work breakdown structure, that signals scope creep. The work breakdown structure becomes your shield that protects the project from unplanned or unauthorized work. Let us now talk briefly about how work breakdown structures appear on the PMP exam. The exam often tests your understanding of deliverable-based decomposition, the difference between work packages and activities, the purpose of the work breakdown structure dictionary, the 100% rule, control accounts, and the concept that the work breakdown structure underpins the entire scope baseline. Finally, let us walk through a short example. Imagine we are managing a project to create an online learning program. At the top level of the work breakdown structure is the final deliverable, which is the completed training program. Under that level, you might have 4 major components: curriculum development, multimedia production, student support materials, and learning management system configuration. Under curriculum development, you may include the instructional design plan, module outlines, script development, and review cycles. Under multimedia production, you may include voice recordings, video editing, graphic assets, and final packaging. Under support materials, you may list guides, worksheets, and assessments. Under Learning Management System Configuration, you may include course setup, enrollment configuration, and testing environment validation. Each of those can be decomposed further until you reach the level where each element represents an estimable piece of work. That lowest level becomes your set of work packages. Once your work packages are defined, your work breakdown structure is complete. Building a strong work breakdown structure requires clarity, discipline, and collaboration. But once you build one correctly, it becomes the single most valuable artifact in scope management. It aligns your team, it clarifies expectations, it minimizes rework, it prevents scope creep, and it becomes the foundation for cost, schedule, and quality planning. Thank you for joining me today. If you would like more project management training, or if you are preparing for the PMP exam, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and explore our resources at OpSynergy. I will see you in the next class.